Why were medieval peasants mostly illiterate? Imagine living your whole life in a small village, working from dawn to dusk on the land, with little chance to learn to read or write. That was the daily reality for most medieval peasants. They made up the largest group in medieval society, yet very few could read a book or write a letter. So, why was that? Well, it all comes down to how society was structured back then. The social system was divided into different classes. The peasants were at the bottom, and their main job was farming and helping their lords keep their estates running. They didn't need to read or write for their work. Instead, they relied on oral traditions, like stories and songs, to pass down knowledge. Education was mostly reserved for the clergy, kings, and nobles. These groups had the power and money to learn to read and write. Schools were run by the church, and they focused on training priests and religious leaders. The language used for reading and writing was Latin, which was the language of the church and official documents. Peasants spoke local languages, so they had little contact with Latin texts. This made it even harder for them to learn. The church also kept religious texts in Latin and didn't want ordinary people to read them. They believed that only clergy should interpret the Bible and other religious writings. Plus, peasants had no time for schooling. Their days were filled with hard work on the fields, tending animals, and fulfilling obligations to their lords. Education was expensive, and most peasants couldn't afford it. They had to focus on survival, not learning to read. Sometimes, peasants might have seen a few written notes or records in their village, but these were rare. Most of their knowledge was shared through spoken words. So, the combination of social class, language barriers, religious restrictions, and economic demands kept medieval peasants mostly illiterate. Their lives were centered on manual labor and oral traditions, not books and reading.